Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, Lone Star Mopars.com. Sunday afternoon, getting some cleaning done here in the shop. Also, we're way back, like late 20s on the Harbor Freight tool hauls. Just filmed 17 with kind of a brand new product. And there's a lot of things we could have like used for filler, but it is what it is. As I was cleaning up after that, in part because I wanted to cut the box down, I have some manuals, I always file away, and I thought, I could go ahead and just open this thing up, get its manual filed away as well. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to throw in some other random stuff. And we will still nowhere near be caught up with our Harbor Freight, but we're getting closer now. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this stuff. I made a video on the green one that I bought for work. I've since bought a red one for work. Really what I like using at work is the stubby earthquake. We do have some issues with those, like the anvil kind of, over time just wears down. But the ability to color coordinate, and it's not like, ooh, red goes good here. It's red stays at this station, green stays at this station, And then with the Ingersoll Wrens, that's great and everything, but they all look the same. And so it's like, well, hey, who broke this? And you can't get a straight story out of anybody, and it's like, no, this one's always worked and that one didn't work, and it was fine this morning, and one thing leads to another. With all of the colors available with the earthquake line, it kind of eliminates that for me. And you've heard me talk about this before, and it is a selling point for certain people in positions like myself. This, why is it blue? Because it's going to stay here, and I wanted it blue. So that's kind of the extent of that. Now, you can frequently catch these on sale still for around $99. That's what I did. This has been sitting there. I haven't had use for it just yet. Typically, I'm just fine breaking things, free by hand, or the little Hercules has been really good too. And the perk there, I don't have to turn the air compressor on. I don't mind running the air compressor on the weekends. That's great. It's usually on. But like when I get home from work at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, I don't necessarily want to fire the air compressor up, to take some lug nuts off or break some head bolts free or something. So this will become my main half-inch drive. My other one is a Husky. It's been fine. It's just time to upgrade, in my opinion. So got a sale price on it, ready to go. This is rated to 1,200 foot-pounds on breakaway torque. That is a lot. You always see people talk about that and rave about it and everything, the breakaway foot-pounds on this and that, and I don't really jump into that category. I mean, the vast majority of these people, you've got to realize, they're like at repair shops. You shouldn't have anything torqued near that high. And it all sort of just becomes moot to me. This is a deal where, like, if I've got a breaker bar and a cheater pipe and I'm like, I'm about to like bust my elbow, that's when I tend to go to the pneumatic stuff. At work all the time, but here at the house, that's sort of my standard. So it is nice, it is speedy. If you've got the good sockets to kind of protect your painted wheels and keep the lug nuts in check, you're usually okay. So this is obviously a half-inch drive. It's an air impact wrench, ultra rugged rubber overmold lightweight composite housing, powerful twin hammer impact mechanism for extreme torque with less vibration. Obviously as well, this is going to pair very well with all of our big slugs that we've brought in. So at work, the old impacts or protos, they've lasted and lasted and lasted. Some of them should be replaced, mainly just due to wear on the drive end. But that's what I replicated here. Is that ideal for automotive that I'm typically doing at home? No, it would be a fantastic life cycle, but it's just the walls are so fat. There's inevitably going to be a lot of fasteners where you're going to have to like step down. The Capris are sort of a thinner wall. I've got some Tectons that are vanadium, which I'm not really a fan of with an impact, but it gets me a thinner wall. So we sort of can work around with what we've got. But in all intents and purposes, if I'm busting out a pneumatic air tool, I want the big fat protos on there because it's a hammer, right? That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Other people have differing opinions. I have experience packing me up. So half-inch composite, again, we've kind of covered everything there. Same with this side panel and the top side panel and this side panel. I do have to give them credit. Like, the packaging is really nice. These, so far, I've not had to issue the two at work, but I've got them stationed. I'm going to have one at teardown, one at assembly. The XTs are still kicking. We got a lot of Ingersoll Rand. I mean, we've had everything. I mean, you go in the bins and it's a graveyard going back to like the good Chicago pneumatic stuff, made in America. Tons of Ingersoll Rand. Again, if you oil an air tool, you're going to get pretty good life out of it regardless of the brand this day and age. So it kind of comes down to what's close by, what do your suppliers have, who will stand behind warranty for you. Do you have to have it now, and what is available versus what you like? All those things play a factor, so keep that in mind. Your compressor requirements, you're going to need 26 plus gallons for continuous. I'm good to go here. For those of you at home, like small 1 to 6 little pancake, don't do it. 7 to 25, you'll get intermittent use. So maybe you can zap off 1 rear wheel or 4 out of the 5 lug nuts, wait, fill it back up, go to town again. Not super efficient. That's again why a lot of people prefer battery powered, but to me, air tools are still the way to go. Yes, the cord's annoying. Yes, the compressor can be annoying, but in terms of power and just continuous duty, that's where I'm at. Body work, spot welds, rust, sanding, all that sort of stuff. Yes, I could use battery powered tools, but that sucks down the batteries. It's insane. I'd rather have the compressor kick on and not have to deal with stopping, charging, running out of batteries, waiting, coming back, buying more batteries to cover. It's just, this is what I still prefer. Call me old school, call me what you will. I've got my reasons. So 1,200 foot-pounds breakaway for lightning fast removal. Stylish ultra rugged rubber overmold. I actually have to agree, these do look pretty good. Powerful twin hammer impact mechanism for extreme torque with less vibration. One-handed push button forward and reverse with 3-speed rear dial regulator. Lightweight, durable composite design reduces wrist strain and fatigue. This is still a pretty heavy impact. It's not near as heavy as some, but it's not like it's a featherweight by any means. Through handle exhaust keeps debris away from the operator. You can see right here, ideal for general mechanics, tire shops, and body shops. Right here, your max torque is 1,000, free speed 7,000 RPM. Obviously, it's going to excel at 90 PSI. It'll consume 6 cubic feet a minute at 90 PSI. Air inlet is 1/4-18. Sound output 90 decibels. Recommended hose size 3/8, and tool weight 4.4 pounds. So like I said, I mean, 1/2-inch pneumatic, it's hard to find featherweights, you know, unless you like start dropping down to stubby territory. But I mean, credit to you know, Harbor Freight on this. They did a good job with packaging and aesthetics and everything. So right here, this is one of the big reasons we're doing this. I want this manual filed away while I have the file box out. It's going to tell you everything and more you would want to know. Kind of a cool thing, especially again if you're in a body shop or somewhere stupid dusty, you've got a bag. It also comes with the oil daily tag. This is the second one that hasn't been on. They're usually tucked up in there with a rubber boot. So the big reveal right here for you. It's, there's kind of like a little fuzzball steel wool looking thing I haven't noticed as in the others. This is a dark blue. There it is compared to the Mopar blue. Pretty close. This, in my opinion, a little darker, not as vibrant. Right there, if you can see it, I guess that's kind of to muffle and deflect the air, sort of a diffuser effect, but I don't remember seeing that in the others. Can't say that I looked. It is kind of a buzzkill. They don't include a fitting, but it's not the end of the world. We'll get one wired up, ready to go. Here's your dial in the back, so 3, 2, and 1. We'll leave it on 2 for now. Here is your anvil. You've got the rubber O-ring, so you'll be able to replace that. Note, there is no detent ball on this one. Right here, your forward and reverse. I do actually personally kind of like this. It's a little weird. I'm mainly used to like the side levers, you know, right here. But once you get accustomed to it, it is fine. Nice, good feel on the trigger. That's about all she wrote, because I've got 23 minutes on this card and we've got a couple other random things to get to. Now, the most recent purchase from Harbor Freight, aside from the Icon stubbies, which we picked up on the Father's Day sale, is this thing right here. Snagged it on the road the other day. And it's something I typically would not buy, but I was like, you know what? We're just going to roll with it. So, Merlin, this is their new line. I've had no experience with it. 3/8 by 25-inch hybrid air hose, 25-foot hybrid air hose. It's also 1/4-18, temperature range 5 to 120. -5 we hit, 120 we hit, so we'll see how she does. But see if we can find any other information. They say extremely flexible, ideal for outdoor jobs, kink-proof color. I'll have all this linked below. I make nothing off that. I do it for your convenience. And if you're thinking like, hey, why did you buy this? I thought you were set up here at the shop. I am. But when I bought the US Generals, let me just take you back there so it'll sort of make sense. All right, so these two bolts right there, sort of above the Sony cassette deck, yeah. Welcome to the early 90s, right? But the little two bolts there, which if I can focus, you'll see them better, used to coincide with this. This was my 50-foot air hose reel. It did everything I needed it to do. It would get me from this corner of the shop to the far corner of the shop. Typically, you know, like when I'm airing stuff up, tires, it's right outside the door on the driveway, which this is super close. That's kind of the reason I picked this location. I had plenty of space here to work with. When I came in and bought these two US Generals, the air hose sort of had to go. That's why for the longest time you saw this one docked and this one just sort of spun out to the side. It's because the air hose reel was in the way. Wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. So finally I was like, you know what? I'm going to take that thing down. I'm going to push this back. I'll figure out what I'm doing at a later date and time. Well, it wasn't really an issue. I fired up the compressor a few times, aired some tires up, things along those lines. But then I had to use the belt sander, and it was a nightmare. It's a super tight quarters over here, but I needed to be able to pull the hose out some, and it's hard to do that when it's on the ground. So I've currently got that sucker clamped, and that's far from ideal. And so my solution, while I kind of have plans for this wall, you know, like I don't know if I'm going to do a pegboard type deal. Don't want to go too much time into it right now, but I have things that I think I'd like to do there. And subsequently, you know, like the air hose can either kind of slide down if I totally undo. I mean, when I did this, I was probably like, what? I don't know, 19 or 20, you know, and I was over here soldering copper up, and it's, these regulators here, man, I tell you, it's always the lubricator that leaks. That thing is a piece of junk. That's why it's not there anymore. But what I ran into is the whip on this reel, which has been good. That's a Harbor Freight product from the late 90s, if I'm not mistaken. It just wasn't long enough to get up to the deal. And so I thought, you know what, this would just be far, far easier if I just went out and bought a stupid air hose. And I just need it to be, you know, probably 25 feet. That'll get me into the cars. It'll, you know, if I have to air up my mom or sister's tires when they're over, I'm home free, goes right out the door. That's where that Merlin's going to come in. While I'm here, I have a ton of these US General surge protectors. This one I've never had any trouble with until recently in the switch. It started to be a deal where like it wouldn't turn off, and you kind of just have to articulate the switch. It hasn't done it again, but it was concerning when it started. But prior to that, they've been great. I mean, they're a good price, especially when you get them on sale. I've liked having that there so much. My thoughts were, hey, you know, I've got this cord here, right? You know, 25-footer kind of strung out, and it currently is plugged into the Hercules. But my thoughts were, you know, like, if I leave this sander here, I can show this now because that's a video that would have already come out. If I leave that there, which I don't know that I'm going to do, but if I do, it would be nice to have like the surge protector over here. And then the other thing, again, I covered this when we just did this deal, which was a few minutes ago. The door is here, right? So if I get a surge protector tucked in, even down low or something, low would actually be better in this case. Then I can run an extension cord out my door and all my electric tools, okay? The Hercules sanders, this guy, if I build a little cart for it, instead of me losing, you know, like 8 to 10 feet already off the bat and then straining the cord around a toolbox, I can just drop it in right here. So that leads us to our next item, which let's go check it out. So that's where this comes in. I've had this sitting there for a long time. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it. Sort of thinking I might take it to work. I was also thinking I could throw it in the Husky down low. All sorts of options, but again, I've had such good luck with these. It's hard to find a good surge protector, but when you get one magnetic that actually you like the looks of, it's like, this is a steal when you get right down to it. I always buy them on sale. But like I said, I think this is going to go on the flip side of the outboard US General closest to the door, and it's going to be awesome. I believe I've recorded a video on that one I don't know that I've ever edited or uploaded it, but it wasn't really a high priority because I didn't think people would care too much about this versus some other things. So I guess we'll quickly try to rip through the highlights on this thing. So this is a 5 outlet with 2 USB port magnetic surge protector. Again, you can get these in pretty much any US General color. It's super powerful magnets, I will attest to that. They'll stay planted right where you put them. They're non-marring, just like all the other US General rubber-backed magnets. Super nice. There's a built-in cord wrap which comes in handy. I don't know if you could see it utilized over there where the air hose reel was going to tear it off. But it is an 8-foot power cord. That's also important. There's 2 powerful magnets with a combined pull force of 19 pounds for secure storage on your tool chest, and the USBs are going to provide 3.1 amps. Coming around to the back side is pretty much the exact same stuff. Rated voltage 125, max amperage 15, max watts 1875, 19 pound pull strength, and again 3.1 amps shared. So that's it. Let's see how quickly we can tear into this, because again this card is running out of space. I've got some videos from last night. I did copy them over, but until I've switched computers, it's kind of confirmed that they're functional. I hate deleting footage. If you've ever lost footage for that reason, you will have the same mindset as I did. Oh boy, always tough to get these out of the box. Got that taken care of, and boom. This is just a really good looking surge protector. I also like the LED indicator light, so anytime you flip it on, the red light's on, you know it's going. This will also let me relocate the chargers if I want to put those farther out, where we now have that US General rack for the power tools that you saw. So just kind of a hodgepodge tool haul from, a long time ago, quite a while ago, and a couple days ago, but it is what it is. And hopefully it's entertaining. Hopefully it's something you enjoy. Again, if you've experienced these Earthquake XTs, let me know. Again, I wait. I'm not going to issue the new ones at work until, our others are dead. And they just kind of keep ticking. So we also have the Stubby. I've since acquired, I think, 2 backups for it because it's just so nice. It fits in a lot of spaces where this or the big pneumatics don't. But yeah, that is that. I'm going to get these boxes cut down, get everything thrown away, file the manual away. Again, that was a big reason. I do basically date these. I like to do when I bought it, when I opened it, when I put it in use, which typically those things are, same date type of a deal. Sometimes, in this case, they are not. But yeah, I'm going to set the air hose up so I have it ready to go, so I don't have to deal with that thing until I get it all laid out and mounted like I wanted. I'm going to get this on the outboard box. I'm going to go ahead and get a fitting on this so it's ready to go, get it filed away in the bag, in the box. We're done. So hopefully you enjoyed. LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all 3 at Lone Star Mopars. Once again, any experience with any of these products, feel free to leave your thoughts. If this air hose is a joke, if I should have got something else, let me know. Typically, I've started just buying straight rubber. I can get pretty good deals through some suppliers. At work, I'm 50 and 100 foot. But here, this was a deal where this was priced pretty well. They had a ton of slots, but they didn't have a ton of inventory. And they had the cheap stuff that I kind of know what to expect from, and this was kind of a step up, so I thought, yeah, we'll roll with it and see what we think. So I do like the color, matches the Alphas. By the way, 20% off, discount code Lone Star. Make nothing off of that either, but you can save some cash on some cool gloves. So I'll get all this stuff set up, give me something cool to do on this warm Sunday afternoon, and I hope I will catch you back here for more action from the shop.